You deserve a tech career you love, coworkers you can count on, innovation you're proud to build. If you're ready to change the world through technology, explore a career at Cox. Make a real impact in engineering, development, cybersecurity, and more, all while experiencing work-life balance, flexible work options, and great benefits. Visit cox.career/tech to find a job you love today. That's cox.career/tech.
This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, and that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Hey, folks. Welcome to this week's edition of One Nation Radio. I'm James Boyd, and here we have Rich Latta. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. Here to talk about some pro wrestling this week. Back to the regularly scheduled program.
Yeah.
I did get a lot of nice messages from people last week, and people that hadn't checked out the show in a while or ever checked it out, or people that were just looking for information on the whole thing with Kendrick Lamar and Drake. A lot of people reaching out on Twitter, various Discords. I was sharing it throughout like the Voice of Wrestling community. Bunch of stuff. So shout out to everybody for showing us love. Y'all, hopefully y'all came back this week.
Yeah, appreciate it. It's funny because like we got a lot of our like close friends or whatever else, like they'll listen to us, they'll suffer through us, talk about whatever's going on with wrestling for the time being. Is like I have people that like I don't expect to listen to our podcast at all, but like, oh, I checked out this Kendrick Lamar thing, and I was like, Kendrick Lamar and Drake thing. I was like, oh wow, that's interesting. Why'd you do that? You could have just called me, but all right, that's cool. But yeah, like it was cool. Like my brother Daniel, like he like I think he'll listen to some of our like NBA stuff from time to time. Like if we got like a final wrap up where we talking about somebody that just won the finals, that sort of thing. We kind of give an update of where they are historically. He'll do that, but like. Wrestling about outside of me saying like, hey man, there's this one match or whatever else. Like I had him check out like the last few minutes of Takeshita and Ospreay or whatever else. Because they're in the middle of going nuts. I was like, hey, you want to check this out? Because it's because I was over at the house with Caden at the time. So I was like, hey, let's. And you want to check this out? And all of a sudden he starts laughing like, I don't even know what the hell this is. He's like, what even is this? So yeah, like it's very rare that like family and friends check out the podcast in that kind of way. So it's kind of like one of those things. Was like makes you wonder, like maybe we should get back into the pop culture stuff more often. Maybe we should dig into that. But we'll see. This is always going to be a wrestling podcast first, but it is fun when we get it. For me personally, it's fun to get in and talk about like the other stuff from time to time. Yeah.
Yeah. So
maybe we got to find a show to talk about. I don't think we ever covered a show.
Like a TV show?
Yeah. We never done that. Like as it's going. Like we done like, a movie or whatever.
We did the Last Dance joint, but that was only like 5 weeks.
That's a documentary.
Or whatever.
That's a documentary.
Yeah.
That don't count. You got to find some trash TV to watch and review.
Oh yeah. Some fresh trash. I know Josh, Keepin It Strong Style, he likes the Bruv Love Island.
Yes, he does.
The Love Island UK.
Yes, he does, and he's been telling me to get on it, and like that's a good suggestion for me because like I like some trash like that. I'd be into it. Just I'm out of time. There's too much stuff going on.
I tried to throw on some Bruv Island before in front of Catherine. It was just too much. It was just like, nope, can't. I gotta watch this on my own time. I can't be.
Catherine not into it, or was she just shitting on it?
It was just too much. It was like, nah, I can't be just watching this here with my wife. Like, it's just
because it's about adultery.
It's too much.
Okay.
Too much debauchery and fuckery and foolishness. Like, it's like, nah, it ain't quite. Too much skin, all that. Yeah, just too much.
Wow.
But yeah, man.
I mean, there's got to be some way to play it. Be like, hey, you see all these shenanigans going on. Meanwhile, I'm your rock.
Yep. That's how you got.
I don't know how to play. I don't know how to spin that. I'm just saying, maybe you can finesse that one. You know, you creative. You can figure out how to make that one work for you. I guess I can. Yeah. I'm not a creative.
Before we keep going, drop the announcement here at the beginning of the show. We got the One Lifetime Worldwide.com merch store up. Got One Nation Radio gear on there. Hats are coming soon. Leather snapbacks. You're definitely going to want to get one of those. We got some joggers on there at the minute. We got like a sweater on there. We also have a distressed vintage shirt with like the pyramids on it and all that. It's a pretty dope design. I went crazy today and ordered like just a shit ton of merch myself, just to pretty much just have some here and rock different stuff. But yeah, that stuff will be in the mail, and you guys will start seeing that week to week on the streams and everything like that. But definitely show us love on that. Like when you're in this thing, you got a couple choices. You can just do all the stuff forever for free, like we've always done. And we will continue to do. I don't have any plans on changing One Nation Radio. You can set up something where, you know, your audience can support you. Shout out to KISS. They just started their Patreon page, but I'm like, man, I'm not really with the Patreon stuff right now. I'm just like, it's a lot of upkeep, but I will work on some fly shit for y'all. So like, if y'all want to rep the brand and stuff like that, wear at the shows, it's always cool when I see that. I think I saw Black Saber Jr. one time at the show with the ONR merch on. That was just our stuff that's on Pro Wrestling Tees, but this stuff is a little different. Like, and it's like when I show you the quality of the shirts, like on the stream when I get them, you guys are going to fuck with them. I promise. They are not your regular just cotton shirts with something on the front. It's like these heavyweight, like vintage style shirts. They're hard as fuck.
I mean, aren't they just like what I'm wearing right now currently? You printed this up?
No.
They're even better than these.
They're better than those.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so like I actually put like a little music video out for my song So They See, and I'm wearing one of those shirts in there. So if you guys look that up, you'll see that, and we got all the different color options. It's not just black shirts. We got purple, orange, like rose red. We got all the shit on there. So like, I'm flipping it up. If you got any special requests, please let me know. I can, work that out for you. But
I have a special request. When are we going to get the One Lifetime like basketball shoe?
Why you bullshitting? There is an option to make shoes on there. So
man, I'm trying to look.
They are Chucks. Oh, yeah? They're like, they're Chucks, but I think they're like low top Chucks. Okay. That's the only thing. And then there's like these ones that look like the first version of like Yeezy shoes or whatever. I just got to see kind of what it looks like.
Okay. Well, when we get ourselves a competent basketball shoe, I cannot wait to endorse One Nation Radio's first athlete, Kate Martin of the Las Vegas Aces. That's been a running gag for y'all ever since off air for y'all ever since like the Final Four, Women's Final Four. Like, I just watched those Iowa games like, yo, Kate Martin's good. And then while she gets drafted to the Las Vegas Aces, and like they talking about like she's gonna make the rotation or something. So it's like, it's crazy, just watching like 3 games, I'm like, yo, she's good. Right. Like Taylor Clark, yeah, she's also good too.
Yeah. So I guess where should we I guess we should start with the news of Willow Nightingale. She's going to be facing Tam Nakano next week at Stardom Flashing Champions.
Yep.
Yet another James Boyd Bowl. Just so this thing is come out of.
I'm blanking.
Yeah, I'm blanking at the moment.
Okay, we can move on.
What the last one was, but Tam versus Willow, kind of a strange match. I didn't see this coming or anything, but it started on Twitter, kind of, and some backstage promos from Tam issuing the challenge. There was a promo Willow Nightingale did last week where she welcomed international challengers as she is, prepping for Mercedes Moné. I was kind of told to watch the Twitter interaction, by folks who shall remain nameless. And then the next day we started seeing all the announcements and all that stuff. So it was it kind of abrupt, it came out of nowhere, won't lie.
Yeah.
But I'll take the match. So Willow's going to Stardom. And it was like, okay. And I'm like, just the aesthetics of this thing here. I was like, man, what a choice. What did you make of this when I first sent you over the graphic?
When I first saw it, I was like, oh, this makes perfect sense. Like, Tam is one of the better sellers in the world, and like we just saw her in that Melt Tier versus Ito and Aja Kong match, sell her ass off, bump her ass off for them make that match work. Like, I think it's gonna go a lot better with someone that's more mobile, younger, and move around, right? Like, so, yeah, the match is going to work. Obviously, Tam is, like, from Himeka to, like, all sorts of monsters in her past. Like, she's able to make this thing work for her. So, like, I think the match is going to work. It's going to be a really good match. And I think this is probably something to keep in mind of, like, some type of progression towards Forbidden Door, or for Tam to end up on AEW shows here and there the same way that, like, Mina pops up, like, every other week on AEW television. Like, given you mentioned the aesthetic choice, like, this is we're talking about pretty smiley girls, like, or women. So I could easily see, like, win, loss, or draw, whatever else, they come to some type of respect or whatever else, and, like, Willow gets Cosmic Angels affiliated to the much of the chagrin of Rich Latta, but it is what it is.
That's a strange one. I don't know. We might have to send Mayu Watani out there and be like, I think you might go with the stars, a little bit more. But I saw this and I was like, that's a funny match, like, because, like, I would have never, like, saw them as opponents. If I was thinking about Willow, I would be like, I don't know. So someone else, too bad Himeka's not here anymore. Himeka would have been perfect. Trying to think who else would have been an interesting opponent. She's in Marigold. I would have said Utami, but I'm down with it. I am pretty excited, to see Willow go over there. She is, as Lyric once pointed out, like, she's the woman that when AEW sends women internationally, chances are Willow's going to be leading the charge, and she's kind of someone that represents herself well, represents the company well, and I couldn't be too mad at this. I did see some people that were just not happy with this, and I was like, I don't know what to make of that.
I don't know, understand, or I've heard one person and because I asked and, like, explain to me what their issue is, and, like, I get the issue, I just don't have that same hold up because, like, I'm at a point where, like, the booking itself is so weird over there right now that, like, I'm not blaming AEW for this, so I'm fine with it. Like, Tam's in the middle of a down cycle. She just lost to Aja Kong. She got pinned by Aja Kong. Like, that's not, I mean, obviously, be like, you don't want to compound it or whatever, but, like, she's doing jobs. She do a job to Willow, whatever.
Yeah. And it's for the TBS belt, if we didn't mention. And, just when I see it, I'm like, look, man, I like Stardom and I like AEW, so I'm someone that, I don't have no problem with this or whatever. So I think it's dope for the wrestlers. I kind of made my stance clear on that. And, I hope, like, more stuff happens. It is part of me, a little bit be like, oh, y'all, like, yeah, man, how do I say this? So it's like, all right, are people angry at this? Did y'all want them to just send Anna Jay so you could be angrier? Like, is this what you really want out of this? Is just to be angry at it? Because if so, let me know. And we can just, we can establish it from there. Because it's just, you see Anna Jay get mixed in. People were just furious. You see Mariah May and Mina, and I think Tonal Talk's doing a good job interpreting a lot of that stuff and breaking it down and what it may mean
they're
from
interpreting
a story perspective. Oh yeah.
That's what we're calling it.
Yeah,
I haven't listened yet, but I already imagine,
Yeah, they're taking you through like what these characters are feeling. So, I think the cool thing about it is I like seeing wrestlers in unfamiliar environments or different environments because it's kind of fun. Like, they can go home after, they can come in and do something cool. Like when Azumi was on Collision, I was like, yo, 1 year ago, this wouldn't have happened for various reasons. Right. Like, let alone like who's in power at Stardom, who's in power at AEW. Like, there's
like,
tons of stuff.
Is Rossi a WWE drone, or are they like trying to charge AEW a ridiculous amount of money to secure each talent? Like, that story came out last week too, so who knows what the hell's going on.
Bro, when I read that, I was like, there's no fucking way this is true. But then I was like, well, if you wanted to politely tell someone to fuck off, that's what you would do, right?
Right. Exactly.
Like, yeah, they can all come for 30 racks each. Like, what? Like, I don't...
like, there's like we'll never know we'll never know for sure whatever situation. I just go off of like, hey man, like, who knows whether it was Rossi, whether it was this Bushiroad or whatever else, whether it was miscommunication between like what Tony Khan thought that Rocky could do for him, or like him reaching out or whatever else. Like, regardless, we're past that and now we're here. So I'm over it now.
Yeah. And I don't say that saying that they don't deserve that number or anything. It's just I am aware of what top people would consider a huge offer, like on an independent level, right?
Yeah,
I'm aware of these numbers, like, astutely. So like when I hear like 30 racks per person per Stardomer for one show on a pay-per-view for AEW, I'm like, you know what? I can see it from one perspective, but absolutely, like, that's nuts. Like, just in comparison to what I'm familiar with.
Right. Especially when it's like, if you're familiar with the wrestlers, you know that they would just do it if you just comp their shit, if you drop their travel, they do it. Like, it's like, get the fuck out of here. There's no way.
Yeah. Like, yeah, man, I'm doing a six woman tag. Shit, I'm putting 200 racks in the ring right now. Like, the fuck? Oh, but yeah, man, Will versus Tam should be a good match.
Should be a very good match, at the least. Yeah. At the least, because like it's you know what it's gonna be. It's gonna be Willow overpowering. Tam's gonna come back. Tam's gonna eventually drop her on her head in some way, and like we'll see where it goes from there. But like the match should be very good, and I don't know what the time limit thing is for the TBS title or what it will be in Stardom or whatever else. But like for me, seeing that Flash of Champions is like the second Night of Champions gimmick pay-per-view they have per year, because was it Golden Week? Not Golden Week, Gold Rush in like the fall, and then Flash and Champions here, and it's like, all right, like, do I want to see Tam in another multi-person tag match on this thing, whatever else is not a title match, or I want to see her do this? Like, I'd rather see her do this, even if it is lose, whatever. Like, she's in the middle of a down cycle, so I don't care.
Just keep Willow Nightingale far away from Natsupoi. I don't want no reports of treachery. So just move around. Yeah. So,
but one thing I've always remembered with Willow is like Willow. She had the match with Julia to put Julia over with the strong belt. She's wrestled. She was on the Stardom Philly show, right? Like in that tag match.
She was on the Stardom show earlier this year too.
Right. So my point is like, you look around, it's like, all right, Tam and Willow makes perfect sense to me because like Tam's one of the like, I don't know, handful and a half that has a U.S. visa. Willow has a visa to work in Japan. Aesthetically, she fits into Tam's group if they want to do that and make a connection or whatever else. Yeah, like, why not? To me, it makes more sense than having Azumi with Anna Jay Anna Jay's on TV for that.
So yeah, next thing I wanted to get into was Adam Copeland, and kind of summarizing. I think it would be a good time to kind of like do a check in on what he's done in AEW thus far in his run. Obviously, he started at Wrestle Dream, coming out at the main event after Darby and Christian. And man, when he first came in, I had a lot of trepidation. I did not enjoy his WWE run, like pretty much. I don't know, like what part I liked. Honestly, maybe like
What's Called was a great match, but it was a match that was recorded.
Maybe some of the stuff that, like, maybe some of the stuff that was like towards the end, like maybe like with Sheamus or maybe one of the Seth Rollins matches. I did not like the AJ Styles stuff. Definitely wasn't a fan of the Orton stuff at WrestleMania. The retape match was good.
The retape match was really good, but it was two matches put together.
Yeah. And it was just like, damn, like, you know, I kind of felt bad for the guy because, you know, this is a guy, you know, he cares about what he does.
Wasn't the Finn Balor Hell in a Cell match decent?
It was decent, but it was goofy.
Yeah.
Because they had the color-coded weapons and different stuff like that. And it was like, all right.
Didn't they stop the match because Balor started bleeding? Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Then it was, it was a whole thing with his comments, kind of where it seemed like he didn't get it. Be like some of the pushback that he got while he was in WWE, he would say things and he'd be like, "All right, man, it's just a disconnect from how he wants to present himself versus how the fans are receiving him." Mm-hmm. He's coming to AEW, and I think he's like been determined. Like he's like, "All right, you know, whether it's you know, he's probably getting paid a ton of money. So it's like, I don't even think it's a money thing. It's like this guy like had kind of something to prove because he's come out and I think he's been about as good as like you can ask for at, you know, his age and, you know, and the frequency he wrestles as well as like the different opponents and styles. Like he's kind of, you know, he's doing, you know, some of your no DQ stuff. He's doing traditional matches with people as well. And this stuff has been like very enjoyable. And he's like grabbed a mic and like decided like, yo, I'll cut the promo that nobody wants to cut. You know, I'll come out here and, you know, work with different guys and lose. And, you know, I'll have the feud I always wanted to do with my best friend or whatever, but like work with other people. And, you know, he's even signed up. He's like, hey, put me on Collision. Like, you know, it is whatever. And you saw, you know, this guy's always very over in the buildings. I'm not going to call him like some huge like business mover or anything like that, just because I just don't think that's, you know, it's never really been him. But I think he's been kind of a revelation, especially like, you know, the sliding door effect of CM Punk walking out and Cope walking in. And Cope is like kind of endeared himself to, I think, the AEW fans in a way where it's like, this is a pleasant surprise.
Yeah, I mean, there's two ways these things go. And obviously, you know, the names on both sides of it, right?
So we're going to get to it.
Do you want to be CM Punk? Do you want to be Christian? Do you want to be Swerve? Or do you want to be Miro? Right? Like, that's how this goes. And like, if you have a functioning brain and you want this thing to work and you have a good attitude about this, and and it also helps that you're someone like Edge, you've done everything. You ain't got to sweat this kind of shit. Just go out there and have fun. Like his last few years have literally just been like, it felt like, hey, I'm just so happy to be back and I'll do whatever you want me to. And when it comes to like, you know, Judgment Day, like there was an interview where he said the Judgment Day thing was like, yeah, man, I called for them to throw me out of Judgment Day because like I felt like I personally, Edge was killing their momentum. He was right. Mm-hmm. And look how well they've done, right? Without him. And then you look at what's going on with what he's done in the AEW, and like he has he always has cool matches. He tries hard. They're not, he does some of the old man selling a little bit too much for my taste, but like whatever. And by the end of the match works every single time, except for like one notable exception of late. So yeah, he's been a success. He seems happy to be there. He hasn't had anybody turn on him. He hasn't done anything stupid to get turned on. It's been a success.
Yeah. And man,
there were definitely pitfalls. Like, Darby losing that match at Wrestle Dream and just for him to come in and win the belt eventually, that was definitely set up to, in other promotions, he would have been like, oh, okay, we see you, Big Cope. We see you.
Yeah.
And they're working out.
Yeah. And I think what he's
Danny
done,
Garcia, same situation, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, and I think they were aware. They're like, yeah, don't have him beat Garcia, but like, Garcia still loses to Christian or whatever. And it's like, you could have elevated him that way, but I don't think any of it's like, blowing back on Big Cope. And at this rate, man, yeah, we got people bringing it up in the comments. Big Cope in the C2. I wouldn't, I wouldn't hate it.
I wouldn't hate it. He might not want to do it. Like if he wants to, sure.
Yeah.
But he might not want to do it. Obviously, because given his advanced age, he's already working a really hard schedule. Given do you think he wanted to wrestle this much already, or do you think this is a surprise to him and he's just dealing with it because of what's been handed to him with like Moxie's away right now, Kenny's away right now, Heyman's away right now. He has to kind of take up the slack just because of the situation, or do you think he really wanted to do this to this level?
He's always given these interviews that said that he wanted to work more, but like WWE, the way they were set up, they were more interested in using him as a part-timer. And I guess he wasn't in favor of that. Mm-hmm. And if you want to ingratiate yourself, that is something you would say publicly with AEW is you want to wrestle. This is what he said publicly. So
okay.
That's what I guess I'll go by. But I think he's, like Edge is not my favorite guy. Like I missed that generation essentially.
Same.
I was lapsed.
I'm in that generation where I was like, I started watching, all of a sudden I look up and be like, wait a second, he's a multi world champion now? Really?
Yeah.
And I had to go back and be like, how did this happen?
Right.
He's a tag guy.
So like when he came back, I just, a lot of like some of our close friends that watched right at the time, like they were really big Edge fans. And I was like looking at him like when he was coming in back to WWE, and I was like, I don't even see like close to that. Like you can see the aura, you can see the promo ability and all that, but then the bell would ring and the matches were just weird, to
a
say
lot of
the
old
least.
man selling.
Yeah, so like, but then like he comes to AEW and it's like he's not like working a peak New Japan match. I'm not saying that at all.
Right.
But like what he's doing is like he's just getting himself over, I think, over each performance to where it's like, yeah, man, I think he's a very valuable part of what's going on. And especially because he has the right attitude about a lot of this shit too. Yep. And that's like a underspoken part about all this.
Yeah. So. Same thing. It shouldn't be that much surprise given how Christian took to this so well too, but you never know. Right? You never know. And as you mentioned, in those interviews, when it wasn't going well, he was very, very, very defensive. Right? Yeah. Like and I don't know if it's just a situation where like you're just used to what option do you have other than to say you can't bury, the company that you work for to say, oh, they're all idiots while you're working there. So was either commenting or you got to give some solution. He's like, well, the fans fickle, whatever.
Yeah.
Because, we used to listen, I used to listen at time to the Edgy Christian podcast, and like, they seemed like they totally got it. And then, this happened with his WWE run, his last run. It was like, what happened? He seems very sensitive. He's giving out all this stuff about like this advice that just is like, all right, bro, you at the age that the people you're talking to, if you had heard that advice, you would have ignored it and you would have went out there and jumped off them ladders again, right? And now he's here and it's like he's having weapon matches like every other month and shit, right? He's in concertos every 3 weeks, so it's like, you know.
And speaking of that, he's got a barbed wire cage match coming up against Malachi Black. Man. Okay. Now, a couple weeks ago, the Dynasty Review, I went through it. I was there ringside. I watched it. I booed the finish. I saw Mal Black spit the mist in his face. Edge is pinned. Immediately, we started playing the funny business games of which House of Black member are you going to face. He subsequently has a boring match with Buddy Matthews because Buddy Matthews is not who we thought he was. Man's a fraud.
It's ridiculous, bro. Like, this dude was once a great wrestler. What happened? And he's not like he's older, had a bunch of injuries either.
Bunch of muscle, moves slower. Gonna show y'all he's a real worker now rather than just throwing up 30. Like, who else? We got, then he gets the Brody King match. Yep. I like that match a lot.
Yep.
It's like a no DQ match.
Same.
And all that is like, then they announce Copeland is challenging Malachi Black to a barbed wire steel cage match. We've already had steel cage shenanigans with FTR and the House of Black where we did our first Escape the Cage match earlier this year that was,
it wasn't
I think
announced,
a lot of people
happened.
saw red. A lot of people saw red and just like, what the fuck is going on here? Why are we beating people in cage matches without pinning them?
Right.
So the rules have not been announced yet, but if I hear that this is hey, you still got to escape the cage or whatever, you have to go through that barbed wire to prove how much you want to get out, I want this motherfucker gone, excommunicated.
I don't even have an issue with escape the cage thing, like where you can play on that, but like ultimately someone should get pinned or submitted in the middle of the ring.
Why doesn't he want to do jobs?
It don't make no sense, bro. Given who he knows and like you would think that he would a light bulb will go off and be like, hey, maybe if I don't do it this way, then I can get further or whatever else. But whatever, man. I guess he waiting for. I guess he under mistaken impression like Triple H is going to want to get him once his contract up, and it's like, hey, man, if you are inactive as much as you are and you don't wrestle that often, why would he want you? You have to do business to get the business you want.
James, I should play the lottery, James.
Obviously, this is reckless.
You know why?
Obviously, this is reckless speculation, but I don't know what you're trying to accomplish here.
I should play the lottery, James, because the one time that Malachi Black did a job in this promotion, I was there in person, and it was Cody Rhodes. How long ago was that?
So that's 2022, right?
No, 2021.
Oh yeah, that first Grand Slam. Oh yeah. Yeah,
bro, it's gonna be like 3 calendar years since this man has put his shoulders on the mat in singles, let alone clean, let alone dirty. What is the malfunction, Mal Black?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, he came in scorching hot, and then like after he got done with Cody. Like he went to the tag thing, Kings of the Black Throne thing. And that was fun for a time, and then they did the trios thing, and then that was cool once until they got the belts, and then it was like, oh, so you're just doing like extended squash matches, like you Bob Hollyism, like that's not like people really don't want to see that, and like bro, once we got done with the Elite versus Death Triangle. Those belts have not mattered since.
Never recovered.
They've not mattered since. And it's like, it started when, these guys say, hey, we just want to have matches where we just beat people up. It's like, how is that compelling? I don't get it. I don't know, man. So, I don't know what to say. And then you see, obviously, Brody King in the C2, protected as a monster of his block, ultimately didn't advance. Like, he's the one they should be pushing.
Absolutely.
And I'm still a
no
fan
problem
of the dude.
with
I'm still
Brody
a fan
King.
of the dude, but like, what have you done for me lately? Not a damn thing.
And it's like,
you're not helping me want to root for you as you continue to not do anything in this company.
look, in the words of Kendrick Lamar, fuck us. Fuck helping us. He's not even helping himself.
Right.
This is a battle with himself. Get your ass out there and put your shoulders on the mat for somebody. Make somebody look good, God damn it.
Yep.
It's so easy. It would be so easy because we know the guy can work. We know he has kind of a cool presentation to him, right? Even though the lore stuff is fucking goofy and your mileage may vary on that shit.
Right.
You can get around that if the guy wants to, wrestle and stuff like that. But he clearly, like, it's just a roadblock in his mind to where it's just like everything else can, he can come up with the lore behind anything except losing. Apparently, he can't even figure that out.
And it's funny because it's like Bray Wyatt lost a lot. Not saying they're the same people, but it's like if you want to do all this spooky shit, like you're gonna have to take some L's at crucial moments because like that shit doesn't draw the houses in that way, or for most of the time, right? And it's like Bray Wyatt was able to talk himself out of losses. Eddie Kingston was able to talk himself out of losses. You gotta figure something else out, man. You got a faction of like three badasses. Like you should be able to recover from a loss. We ain't talking about losses. We said a loss. So
unreal. Like just so let's take a little detour. Dominion, the card drop, the second biggest show of the year for New Japan Pro Wrestling. And man, let's go through what they have announced. And man, when I saw what was announced, I was like, is everything okay, Gato? Is what's happening? John Moxley's still the IWGP champion.
Yep.
Will be defending the belt, returning to the scene of the crime of 2020, Dominion, Evil. So it's like, in my mind, I'm like, man, if you were gonna have Evil face John Moxley, should just let the belt on Tetsuya Naito. Just let them do that bullshit, and we can just write it off to Naito and friends and everything like that.
And to be
don't
fair,
mix John Moxley up in none of this shit.
And to be fair, if you gonna put Evil in the main event for a main event title match, and who else what would draw a better house? A Gaijin that's not in the company or Naito? Naito. Go out there and have that shit show again.
Look, do that. If business will be so much better under Naito at all points. Just package up the Naito Evil thing, do it again, and tell us how we don't understand it and everything like that while they roll out this 2-star match, and then keep that shit amongst them. Now John Moxley got to get involved in this, right? And instead of this guy having this hot title reign, man, he's off to a blazing start, stumbling out the blocks with his matches against Hobbs and, doing all the House of Torture stuff in the Narita match. And then here we go. Once again, Evil spray painting the belt. Oh, but it's going to be all Tony Khan's fault. He controls the IWGP title now. Newsflash. If Gato didn't want to put that damn belt on Mox, they would have never done that. There were other options to go with. There is Zack Sabre Jr. sitting right there. There is Tetsuya Naito there, even though he's breaking down. Whatever, I didn't see him announced for the show, but he could have, put some tussin on it, and went out there. Who else they got, James?
Shingo's still around. They still got, Shota. They can always, they just did that match, but there's always options. Like, Evil is so uninspired. It just is. And It's like, all right, man, that's what you want to do. Like if you want to have your biggest match of the year, you want to put like a person with a shitter gimmick in there. That's on you, man. When it don't work out, like it's the same thing as like when the Momo at All Star Grand Queendom. Like obviously Momo's a whole nother level of Watanabe than Evil is, but you get my point. Like if you want to put this under somebody in one of these shit heel gimmicks in factions in the main event, and you want to run out, run-ins, all that bullshit, whatever else, like, and the crowd don't react to it or take to it after a certain amount of time, that's on you. That's on you.
Not a fan. Poor Jon Moxley doing this great charity for this company, coming in and, holding their belt and helping them draw in America and, all this stuff. And what is he rewarded with? Evil.
Look,
flabbergasted.
Man, maybe he wanted to work Evil. Maybe he's like, I just want to do a nasty brawl or whatever else and whatever. Who knows? We'll see. But, well, actually, we won't see because I'm not watching that. Unless I get Jeremy told me like this match is actually good, I'm not watching this. Like Shingo and Cobb, I'll watch that. Like Hanare and I'm sorry, Ishii and Cobb, I'll watch that. Hanare and Shingo, I'll watch that. I'm not putting myself through that kind of bullshit no more, man.
Completely uninspiring, and it's like whatever. Like all the man did was walk out at the end, and it's like, all right, everything's okay, man. Y'all can have it, bro.
Yeah, Moxley gets past this, and then we'll see whatever's up for him at Forbidden Door. Probably Naito again. He wins it at Naito, and Naito wins it back. Who will see?
Shit, what if he loses to Evil? Shit.
I don't think that's happening because, like, we've had 2 years of indoors. There is nothing that suggests that Tony Khan wants House of Torture on his television because they've never came through that door.
Yeah.
That's not a coincidence. It's the same. Look, just like it wasn't a coincidence that the Tongas never came through either.
Look, I feel like that luck is due to run out one of these years. And
it ain't luck. We don't want them. Don't bring them through.
Look, bring Gabe. Where's Gabe Kidd?
I'm good.
Never openweight title. Shingo Takagi versus Hanare. Now these guys are gonna beat the shit out of each other.
Right.
This should be excellent.
That's gonna be a good ass match because it's Shingo and it's Hanare. Yeah.
Yep. And the when all else fails, it never will deliver. Yep. So, KOPW match, Yuya Uemura versus Great Okan. Hopefully these gentlemen aren't eating lemons anymore in the ring.
What's the rules for this match? Do we know yet? Do you know? Is there a voting?
I don't know the rules or anything yet, but man, you talk about two guys that just ain't never, like, Uemura is not clicking for me, and Okan ain't never really clicked like that.
Not at a high level as a mid-carder, sure, but not as a, he's not a main event guy. He's not a top guy.
Yeah, it's I saw people writing stuff like Uemura needs to stop wrestling like it's 1983, where all of his high spots are arm drags. I've seen a couple of his matches, and I'm not inspired by the guy at all. It's just
he gives
he's just
me
a
like,
guy.
He gives me Sonata-ism, like super technically sound or whatever else. Not really willing to take many risks, and like textbook handsome, clean cut guy. Yeah, he gives me a lot of that. Or minus Sonata with a weird fucking beard a couple years ago. But you get my point. Like, there's something in stoic / to the point where you don't even know if there's actually he's charismatic at all. Like, it's a thing that's kind of just weird. And then they cut his hair, which made it work harder for him.
Yeah.
To make it work for him, because like he's supposed to make the lady swoon, and he cut his hair. All right.
Yeah. I guess it's supposed to be a long journey, for him. So,
have we figured out what the unofficial rule is for when you get your hair cut? Like how long you have to keep it short? What's the unofficial rule? As somebody from a territory talked about what's the unofficial length? It has to be like, is it 3 months? Is it 6 months? Is it a year? Is it 9 months? What is it? What would you
I would
say
think it needs to be like, I would say like 9 months.
9 months. Okay.
Yeah.
It feels like it's over 6 months from what I think of people when they get their haircut and they eventually grow it back. It feels like it's 6 months to a year.
So we got Jeff Cobb versus Tomohiro Ishii for the television championship. That should rule. Jeff Cobb's coming to Dynamite this week. Team with Kyle Fletcher against Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson, I believe. So that should be fun.
Yeah.
Cobb and Ishii, we already know what that is.
Yeah.
Look, also, at any point, Gato could have broke the glass and gave the belt to Ishii.
Or Cobb, or Saber. Whatever. Whatever, man.
I love Ishii. I brought that idea up to Josh from Keepin It Strong Style. He said they're trying to turn around business. I have a simple reply. I was like, sometimes you got to go the long route. You gotta, you gotta take, a little bit of, you gotta go out your way before you can turn it around. Immediately. You need to go ahead and do something else.
Yeah, they trying to turn around house business. What idea did they like? Why did they come up with the idea of we'll put the belt on a gaijin that doesn't work here full time? Like what? Like fundamentally, right? Fundamentally.
Right, and it's not like it's like I remember raising the question. I was like, Jon Moxley has no drawing record in Japan, like almost whatsoever. Why are they doing this before? And I was, kind of shouted down like, it'll be okay. It's Moxley, it's blase blah. And I'm like, all right.
Does it?
They have
when you
work
look
in
at
America.
When you look at that match graphic, you see that Dominion logo, and you see Jon Moxley and Evil. Does it feel okay?
Absolutely not.
You know what I'm saying? What the fuck are we doing? Make it, like it can't have both ways. It can't be like Moxley's cool, and then all of a sudden we put him in a match with somebody else that's supposed to help him draw, and then like, oh, the match is gonna be awful. Thanks. It's only a main event for one of the most important shows in Japanese pro wrestling yearly. Thanks.
It's like they scanned the entire roster and were like, I refuse to believe Tony Khan was like evil. Like that's it, and it's like there's no fucking way. Just it's like, all right, yeah, I'm sure he's gonna have control over when Moxley loses the belt, but I'm like,
sure.
Coming up until then, I'm sure he's not like, hey man, this is evil, this is Dominion, evil is who you'll do it with. There's no other option here. It's like, yo, at that point, it's like, all right, if y'all just bowing down like that and allowing that shit, then it's y'all fault. Like I don't.
Here's one, right? So on Collision, on Saturday, they were the first people to announce Willow versus Tam, right?
Right.
Now, think of how many times they've had AEW people in New Japan or in TJPW or on like New Japan of America shows, and they never announced shit. They put up a match guide for Tam versus Willow. Now, we'll see, but I wonder if this week if we'll see a match graphic for Jon Moxley versus Evil at Dominion. I wonder. I doubt it. Given his history, I doubt it. But it just makes you feel like, all right, man. What does this tell you? What does it tell you? Like when they were doing, Kenny Omega goes back to New Japan for the first time in years to face Ospreay. They didn't advertise that shit not one bit.
Yeah, I remember after it happened too. It was like pulling a leg to get them to talk about the match that happened or whatever. Like just a brief mention during his entrance, and it was just like, yeah, bro, like y'all don't care, like, and that shit suffered, because of it or whatever. They just didn't promote it, and I was like, what the fuck's going on here? Like, are you trying to not step on feelings? Like, right. what the fuck is happening?
Danielson and Okada matches at Wrestle Kingdom. I didn't saw no match graph for Wrestle Kingdom. Nope.
Yeah, but man, I don't know, man. Moxley and Evil, who wants to see that? Like
Velcash, probably.
Velcash, you sicko.
Yeah, he likes perverse shit like this.
Yeah, man. I'm just pissed. Moxley got to get put in the crosshairs of this shit because all this man does is put his head down, work hard, and take on tasks. And it's like, what is this fucking run done for him? Like, he had to wrestle. They gave him Hobbs, and then Hobbs got hurt in the match.
Yep.
And before that, it wasn't, going
it wasn't good.
like that. You got Ren Narita. Sorry, man. It's never happening. Like, then Evil.
Especially once they put him in House of Torture. It's like, so it's just going through the, the hot verse. Great. Awesome. Right. Like, he's going to face Yujiro?
So is he going to get Takeshita at Double or Nothing? Like, because that would be kind of a reward for Moxley. Like, if he gets to wrestle Takeshita again, because the rest of these guys, no.
The Umino match was great. It was. But, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's... I don't know why they did that here instead of over there. It would have. I felt like it would have meant more for him to lose to him to have that match over there, for Umino's sake. But whatever. Yeah. I forgot the Umino thing, but it's a lot of weird stuff going on with Bushiroad wrestling, man. It really is. Just like it doesn't seem like there's a clear idea what the hell they want to do at in their top macro levels things. It's just odd. Both companies.
Tornado tag match, EOP and Hikuleo against Kenta and Chase Owens, who are the tag team champions again somehow. The Mighty O'Neil and Bishamon. So it's just another 4-way of the tag division. And then, of course, the Best of Super Junior finals. So we'll see who makes it there. Probably, I don't know. Fuck it, dude. Despiny Hiromu again. Who cares? Fuck it. Put Ninja Mac over. Let's go. Ninja Mac. Save this shit. Fuck. Man, I don't know, man. A couple years ago,
imagine 5 years ago, we would have been blasting a New Japan Dominion card or preview like this.
Matter of fact, let's go to 5 years ago at Dominion. Actually, let's go to 6 years ago at Dominion. Dominion 2018.
That's I'm going to pull the start up. 19 is also bad, too, because, Dragon Lee versus Will Ospreay.
All right, let's go. We'll spare you on 2018 because I think that's the greatest wrestling show of all time, right?
Yeah.
Let's just pull this up. Let's see what we got. The opener, we got Jon Moxley defeating Shota Umino, kicking off, a 5-year story,
right?
Essentially, with these guys.
Shooter.
We got the arrival of Shingo Takagi in the heavyweight division, defeating Satoshi Kojima.
Yep.
We got Jushin Thunder Liger and Yoshihashi against Minoru Suzuki and Zack Sabre Jr.
Mm-hmm.
We got Taguchi Japan. We got Tanahashi, Juice Robinson, Taguchi against Bullet Club. Jay White, Chase Owens, Taiji Ishimori. It went less than 10 minutes. We got Tomohiro Ishii versus Taichi for the Never. We got God against E1.
And now's at the point when Taichi started to give a fuck. Consistently.
Right. We got God, the newest WWE acquisitions, against Evil and Sonata, where these guys should be in tags.
Tags. Yep.
Will Ospreay versus Dragon Lee
in one of the greatest matches of all time.
Yeah.
And then what did Naito and Ibushi do to follow it to the very next match?
Tetsuya Naito versus Kota Ibushi in a we don't give a fuck about our next match. I loved it.
Yeah, in a match that was so violent and so disgusting that Dave Meltzer reprimanded by docking it a quarter star and not giving it 5 because them dudes saw Dragon Lee and Ospreay and was like, we will have to drive each other our necks a whole bunch to try to match this. That's exactly what them idiots just said back to each other backstage.
And not the greatest match in the world, but Kazuchika Okada versus Chris Jericho. Yeah, I'd rather watch that than this. Than Jon Moxley versus Evil.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
So we've come 5 years and later here. And I don't know what else is going to be announced here, but there's still big names obviously not announced. Right. I don't know, man. Like, let's see what we got here, man. So on Dynamite, the Elite ended up getting running across Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega sending the video from the hospital.
Stop. I just look at the chat. They're right. It's gonna be something it's gonna be something ridiculous. Jake Lee's Jake Lee.
Oh yeah, Naito versus David Finlay. Ooh. Jake Lee.
It's gonna be like some shit like Jake Lee versus Suji or some shit. Or like was it good looking guys versus like LIJ B team or something. Watch.
Damn. Bushi, you're gonna get a singles match. You know. Oh,
I hope not.
Man. Can they just bring back the dad? Can they just bring back the dads? Bring back like Nagano.
Who's the juniors champion right now? Is Yo, isn't it?
Yes.
You don't think?
I think so.
No, yeah, he beat Desperado, didn't he?
Let's see. Show is the current champion.
Okay, Show. All right.
Who
Rich.
won by like count out or some shit.
Rich. If Yo win Best of Super Juniors.
Absolutely not. Yo wins Super Juniors. Show versus Yo.
Yo's injured. All right.
Yo's injured. Okay.
Oh boy,
man.
Shows how much I've been following this company, right? Jesus,
bro. Have you seen Leo Rush and what he's doing?
Oh, the alter ego gimmick that he does with the goo in the mouth. Yeah, I've seen that before.
Why does this Negro think he's Papa Shango?
Can't speak on it, man.
Stop it. This spooky shit is bullshit. It will put you in a corner. You will not make money doing this.
Whatever. It's a cool T-shirt. That's the thing. That's the thing I be thinking of when people do the spooky gimmicks. Like, well, it'll be a cool T-shirt. Like, yeah, but what about after the cool T-shirt? We'll make another one. All right.
But like you just want to put skulls on your merchandise that badly? Is that it? Like,
you want to put satanic fonts on the shirt? Like, you can do that without doing all this goofy shit, man.
John Gresham is doing bullshit too. Like, but the dirty secret is John Gresham been doing bullshit a long time, but motherfuckers just don't actually want to say it. That's the dirty secret. But yeah, leave that shit to Keishan Liger. That's it. That's the only motherfucker I want to see, taking their mask off and all of a sudden their mouth got ooze and shit. That's all I want to see. FTR.
You deserve a tech career you love, coworkers you can count on, innovation you're proud to build. If you're ready to change the world through technology, explore a career at Cox. Make a real impact in engineering, development, cybersecurity, and more, all while experiencing work-life balance, flexible work options, and great benefits. Visit cox.career/tech to find a job you love today. That's cox.career/tech.
Back to Kenny Omega in the hospital. Kenny Omega's in the hospital looking fucked up, obviously high, clearly of an altered state of mind. As he mentioned something about FTR being the greatest tag team of all time, I knew something wasn't correct with Kenny Omega. Shame on these people for recording him in that state and exposing his gravely sick condition to the national television audience. Unbelievable they do that to him. So in that altered state, adds FTR to this match officially.
Before we go there, how many Kenny Omega tag teams alone are you putting in front of FTR? I know two at least.
At least two. Oh yeah, Kenny Omega clearly working off the effects of poison out there. Announces that.
Like, bro, whatever. I'll leave it alone. You got it. You got it. Yeah, you handle my poke jabs at Floyd portion of the show. You handle it on your own. So you done that.
It's just disgusting work, right? But I can't even don't even play around like that because now that shit's on video like forever. Now motherfuckers like Floyd can just like clip that shit for 3 seconds and send it out anytime he wants. You're making my life harder with this, Kenny. You're not supposed to do that. So Kenny's not in this thing, obviously. And we're left with FTR, Bryan Danielson, Eddie Kingston versus the Elite, Kazuchika Okada, Jack Perry, the Young Bucks.
Yep.
So when I see this, I'm like, so why would anybody root for against the Elite?
Once you put so for me,
like when you say like we're fighting for AEW, you send out FTR. It just like,
look, man. I
remember the Dax podcast.
Look, I remember. I know that Dax is a whiny ass, whatever else. But look, man, like he's had a hell of a career in AEW, and so has FTR. Now, are they annoying as fuck? Yes, away from the wrestling stuff and the way they do the Twitter stuff. They're just bad at it, right? But like they absolutely
what about the way they were doing this right after CM Punk was fired, or whatever the fuck Cash was doing with his arms to pay tribute on camera.
I don't care that one of CM Punk's friends like showed us the whatever display of loyalty to CM Punk. Like there are people that are friends of CM Punk that are still there. It is what it is. I'm not doing the high school shit of like you're friends with the person that left on bad terms, therefore you're shit to me. Like I'm not doing that. I don't care. Like does this person put on good work when they show up? FTR does. They're annoying when they do it, but they still are so good that like that overcomes that.
But what they've done with this entire storyline is like they've turned the footage and all that shit like to where it's like, hold on, all we're doing is like looking at these people like Jack Perry and then the Bucks, and it's like, hold on, the person that is like associated with them is FTR, and it's just fucking backwards.
No, it's Rich, I told you that in the beginning. Look, I was like, bro, if you play this video, Jack Perry's going to get cheered. He's hanging around with the Young Bucks who are cheating and are heels. They're heels. And the team that they fucked over for the belts when Jack Perry came back was FTR. FTR should be getting cheered. Yep.
To thunderous applause, by the way.
FTR should be getting cheered. Young Bucks should be getting booed, and Jack Perry should be getting cheered. But two of them that should be getting cheered are now with the team that should be getting booed. One of them is with that side that should be getting booed. It's all just cheer and boo forever you want to. It's not about heel or face. You know, they have gone straight into the grave. That's what they've done with this feud or whatever else. And like they hope that we throw Danielson and Kingston at it, they'll just flat out just cheer for that team and don't think about the part where it's like, well, Jack Perry is like the hottest thing out of all of this eight separate individual acts put together, or not to put together, but like put together for this match. They're losing, it seems like they lost sight of that. So, like, whatever, you're just there to react and cheer and boo whoever you want to. Whatever heat happens, they'll figure it out because it's a Young Bucks match. But, like, as far as traditional pro wrestling, it's all fucked up. It's all fucked up.
We're all in the phantom zone right now because I like the Elite versus AEW. It's like the people that were kind of wronged here were like, the Elite, like, so it's like
the people that were wronged in this was Jack Perry. I don't know what what are you talking about as far as like the Elite were wronged? Like, what do you mean?
Like, as far as like
the Young Bucks,
as far as like the the Young Bucks, like they gotta essentially now wear all this shit or whatever for like basically they got inserted into this thing like with the tape and all that shit or whatever. Before I think like when
I get what you're saying, like they're like the J.R. Smith / Jamal Crawford, and like somebody threw them the ball 30 feet away from the rim with like 3 seconds left on the shot clock. Yeah, they were put in that position. Absolutely. Yeah.
And then it's like
throw up the grenade. Yeah.
It's like we'll beat up Tony Khan, and it's like they're supposed to be booed for that after what we've like seen or whatever. It's like it just seems all wrong, right, and backwards.
And then they did the thing with Kenny Omega in freaking Winnipeg. to continue to make sure they got boo, as opposed to like, y'all should just lean into Jack Perry being a babyface. Y'all really should.
Yeah,
but they're dead set on getting booed just with Okada. They're dead set on it.
I think they should.
Jack Perry.
I think Jack Perry should just been like this renegade, essentially, like, and eventually, like,
been like Sting before he went to the crow shit.
Bro, I think Jack Perry should have went against the Young Bucks or whatever, and be like, "Yo, y'all fucking left me here. Like, you like, thanks for playing this tape or whatever. But what about these 7 months where y'all could have fucking did something about it or whatever?" And then you turn him that way, and Jack Perry's like at least the person you cheer for in that situation, and it's like, oh, why did you essentially try to use me to do whatever you're doing with FTR and whatever? Like, and then he kind of retains.
But that was never going to make sense because he was going to come down eventually at the end and shove Dax off the ladder at Dynasty. That was always going to happen. This is screwed back. If you go back then, I was like, hey man, it's funny because reactions going to be exactly what the reactions end up happening, turned into fruition. And I said, hey man, luckily, with the whole, TK driver and beating up TK, like, he's so hot that it doesn't matter. But, like, now we're, a couple weeks past this, and now the opponent is FTR, now it makes you go back to thinking about it. It's fine. Like, when the match starts, it'll be fine. But, like, when you got to think about this build, you're like, some of these pieces don't really fit together in that way. It just don't.
Yeah. Like, I'm just not feeling it. And then they throw Danielson and Kingston in there to try to distract you. It's like, man, I know what this is, man. Like, I don't
right.
I think kind of they're
like Danielson is out here fighting on behalf of like an injured Kenny Omega in our hospital bed. What?
Yeah. So like, also, I've heard the point of made is actually like just Dynamite versus Collision or whatever, which is just like a lot less. Like, when you think about it like that, the match sad. even more air comes out of the balloon for that, right? So where it's like,
yeah, because though I watch Collision every other week, it shouldn't exist.
Like when I think of like what the team AEW should be. It should be like, yeah, dog. What about like people like Orange Cassidy or Darby Allin or like people or like Hangman Page? I know Hangman's not around right now, but like these are the people that should kind of be fighting against like the elite. That would make Team AEW kind of hit a little bit more, right?
Right, but then they can't use Hangman because Hangman's a heel right now. But then the thing is this: he's been gone so long when he comes back to be a babyface because the elite suspended him.
Yeah. Well, they could just unsuspend him and he's on their side. But I kind of look at it as, the leader going to win this match anyway. So, like, you need, like, just a team to come out there and get that loss before you put the real team out there.
And
so maybe that's what I'm...
nothing more than to lose.
Maybe that's what I'm hanging my hat on there and, whatever. But, yeah, it just... I don't know. It just seems backwards, and like I'm not as into this as I once was.
It's crazy how one team will fuck up the game.
Amazing, right?
If you put in Lucha Bros,
it makes so much more sense. It makes so much more sense if it's the Lucha Brothers. Much more sense.
But it don't, because FTR got fucked over by the Young Bucks in the last pay-per-view. It makes sense. It does make sense. You just don't like them niggas.
Look, they should have just laid their ass down instead of going for a ladder match. Lay their ass down and lost clean and went to hell. We could have done that.
Why are you acting as if the stint was regular rules match that Jack Perry would not have came in and hit them niggas with a belt or something? This still would have been the same shit.
Rebook it. Switch it up. And do it my way. Switch it up.
Oh wait, Phoenix got hurt again?
So he was advertised for a date where him versus his brother at House of Glory, and he pulled out. So that could be one of two things: injury, or it could be somebody like, all right, who's losing? Who are you paying to lose?
Okay,
it could be one of those situations. So I don't know. But yeah, man. Yeah.
I mean, look, it could be worse. They could put the Acclaim. They could have put the Acclaim in this fucking match.
I mean,
or like the Gun Club or some shit. All right, man. Where are we going to next? Unless you got something else on this.
Swerve gets turned on. So
that every time, look, you wrote that in the print. You said it to me earlier, and this is the third time now that it sounds wrong. You saying that it hits the ear wrong. Swerve gets turned on. What? Why can't you just say the embassy turns on the mobile embassy turned on Swerve? Why can't you say
that sounds even worse?
But well, let's take
you just gotta say it. Let's take out the word turn on. Say betray, backstab, beat up, attacked. Look, you just gotta power through, my boy. Power through.
Hey, man. No Diddy. You gotta power through. No Diddy. That's crazy.
Speaking of that, did you hear King Cole's diss on the 50 Cent? He was like, let me hear, I dare one of y'all niggas to say no Diddy or some shit like that.
Oh, wow.
No. So Swerve, thus further demonstrating how far in the mud Drake is, beats up a Canadian father, uses lines in his promo about Drake, essentially like alluding to how Kendrick Lamar beat a Canadian down in there. And it kind of looked like it was a setup, and he got cheered for it in Canada or whatever.
Yes, he did.
So that was pretty funny. And I thought, they cut, some pretty good promos on each other. And Swerve, basically brought up that, when it gets tough, you'll quit or whatever, essentially just like you did last time. And then it looked like it was about to be, another jump zone, but then Mogul MC comes in, crowd pops, because obviously they haven't seen these guys in a while. I didn't see this coming at all. I was like, oh my God. And then all of a sudden, Brian Cage is going upside Swerve's head, and they start stomping Swerve the fuck out and whoop him or whatever. Yeah. And then it's like, oh shit. And I was like, I didn't see that coming. So there were, a couple things set
also,
up here.
Also, no Nana around during any of this.
Yes, no Prince Nana was around. And obviously, you got short-term opponents. Obviously, you got long-term opponents.
Yep.
And then you've got a greater threat on this. So this is almost like Swerve versus the world in a sense. So he's got his unit to take care of. He's got Christian, his entire heel unit. And then pulling the strings over everything is the Elite back there. So, mind you, this I feel like I've seen this, kind of set up before, like the likes of like Stone Cold Steve Austin, fighting against the corporation or some shit. So we'll see how this goes. But it led to on Collision, Swerve coming out, and I think probably having like his best night as champion since this Claudio match, I would say. Yeah. And he comes out there, hits some music after the 6-man squash, and comes out with the chain, fucks up Toa, fucks up Khan, kind of like Brian Cage slips out of his hands, and he gives like a chair shot on the steps to Toa Leona. Cameraman got to do a better job on that.
Like he went to the angle that totally betrays that he's hitting the steel chair, even though we know he's gonna hit the steel chair. But it's like, how do I know this, but you don't know this? This isn't my job. It's your job,
right? Look, protect your fucking champion. But that from there it sets up a Swerve versus Cage match next week, eliminator match. So I've seen these guys work together on the indies before, so they're gonna probably have a really fun match. So like the answers a lot of questions with Swerve, with the Mogul Embassy. They're breaking up the group. I like the group a lot. I thought it looked cool together. I thought the tag team of Toa and Khan had a lot of potential. Hopefully they get a chance to get into something. But I think the longer, Swerve went as a babyface, people were like, well, what's up with the group or whatever? Right. And I thought this would be a perfect time for them to come back as babyfaces, fight with him against like the Christian unit. I would have been all for that. But they turn him. So it's like, all right, they get to like, wrestle against them in the short term. That's cool as well. But it's almost like when that is done, I kind of worry about like where those guys fit.
Yeah, I do too.
But I like I said, I like the group, and I kind of we'll see where it goes. But man, I like the group a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like they were sacrificed to die without Swerve just now. Unless they find
they kind of like pledge their allegiance to the elite, but we know what that feels like. It's like y'all are some like lower level minions or whatever.
Yeah. And obviously, like, given what's going on with like the storyline is that the elite, because Swerve is spoken out against the EVPs are making Swerve's life hell for now, given, Christian, given that like the last time we saw Christian before he gets a title match was he fucking lost his title. He just shows up. Also, when are we getting these fucking rankings back? Oh, we'll never get them back so we can do shit like this. Anyway, you have the patriarchy, and then you have Mobile Embassy like now doing making Swerve's life hell because he is standing at odds against the EVPs, and like eventually that'll come to head, I imagine. But yeah, like. That's just affiliation. That's just explaining why it's happening. That's not like actually like long term. Like, oh yeah, they're definitely they're gonna be working with Okada. Like, no, I don't see that. So it's just heels being heels together because they all vibe off the evilness,
right? They got shook off the realness. Cousin of that. But yeah, man. So like going forward, it looks like it's Swerve. He's gonna eventually get to Christian. I'd like to see him get back to Nick Wayne at a certain point, do another one of those matches. We need that guy in the ring. Nick Wayne doing entirely too much standing around for me. I know he wrestled Joey Janela in a 60-minute Iron Man match in Defy. However, bring this kid to national television, please. Swerve did a cool thing. He showed up in Defy with the AEW title. I thought that was like a really cool moment for those fans. And he ended up doing like a free meet and greet as well. So that's pretty cool as well. And it's always dope to see somebody go back home, and show them what you won and what you brought with you. So, and he brought the belt out there. So that was pretty cool. And, Collision overall, like Saturday night was very, very enjoyable. Headline with that Adam Copeland versus Kyle O'Reilly, Floyd Johnson's favorite wrestler. That match just tears the building down again.
He hates motherfuckers that wrestle like they're real. He really do. Don't like Gunther. Don't like O'Reilly. Bro, they
Dragunov.
You don't like Dragunov either?
Nope.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Not enough Gaga, I guess.
Yeah.
It's
Dax.
funny because if you were to ask me like who would be a good opponent for him, Dax. All them three would have great matches with Dax. All three of them. Hard-hitting, hard-working ass matches. Technically sound and tough and grizzled. Like, it's weird. Like, I don't know. Why does he like Dax so much? He's one of
them. Speaking of Dax, he had a match with Tommy Billington, the Dynamite Kid's nephew. Came out there looking like Dynamite Kid in 1981, 1980 or whatever. And this actually was a really, really good match. And, I try not to praise FTR Bald all willy-nilly like that. But, I thought this was like, I want to see more of Tommy Billington around. But it's like, almost like, I would love for them to be like, all right, you keep developing or whatever. And, you can bring them in, you can do whatever. But like, if you bring them in, you got to use them. But if not, just let them just fucking go nuts like around the world or whatever. So I really enjoyed that match. Speaking of FTR, I think we should probably, some news broke minutes before we went on air with Cash Wheeler, getting out of his legal troubles. Essentially, they decided to not take it to trial or something like that. And all I got to say is, like, what happened to law and order in this country, James?
Look, man,
what happened?
I don't know about I don't know the particulars of it outside of the story when it first broke in the police reports. I don't know. I don't know what happened, man.
What? I'm just disappointed by our country, James. Like, we're just letting these thugs just run around and do what they want. You know, we're just letting these unchained animals essentially just take over our streets and our communities. I can't believe that we have, you know, someone waving around a gun and it's just okay. You know, like just I can't believe that we are allowing our communities to be devastated like this.
Well, prosecution probably thought he was a good guy with a gun, so.
Just, you know, this guy's a danger to himself, a danger to others. Who knows where he's going to bring that thing next? He might show up to work with it. He's wrestling an Anarchy in the Arena match. We've always wondered, when is someone going to bring a gun to the ring?
Okay, Caleb.
He might bring it. He might bring it. Who's going to stop him?
Oh, my fucking God.
Who's going to stop him? I'm concerned, James. Unreal. I can't believe this.
Brewhaven says, have you ever seen the DDT clip of Dude with a Gun? I'm sure I have. But look, man, I've seen a clip of like
clean up our streets
of a Yuzuki Akawa in like 2013 or whatever else Stardom, 2012 Stardom, like pull out a gun in the middle of a match and she can keep a first ring. Like that gimmick is happening for someone pull out a gun and like, it's like, so when people do the whole thing like, you know, what if somebody pulls out a gun in a no DQ match? Like, you fucking child. Like, and Caleb does that shit like every other time there's a no DQ match. It is so annoying. It's like, bro,
Brewhaven.
Go ahead.
Brewhaven said if Cash pulls out a gun at Anarchy in the Arena, he's Wrestler of the Year. Hey, man, I'll say this. Like, you know, I was there ringside watching FTR and the Young Bucks, bro. That motherfucker, I said, that man Cash Wheeler is a bad motherfucker, bro. Like, when he starts moving around and running into shit, and like, he's going to go crazy in this match. But
I'm just sick of, like, charges got dropped. Like, you don't need that kind of attention on you after you had attention on you, man. You don't do that. Do not. Because the thing is this, right? It's not like people gonna pop for it if it happens. I'm be like, look, this, it ain't a good look. It's not a good look.
Oh my God. Sheamus Nova, imagine Okada attempts a Rainmaker, but he stops with a gun midway. You reverse a Rainmaker with a gun.
Like, he gets spun off and he goes like, freeze! and Okada lets go of wrist control. Like, oh, hold on, brother, hold on.
Take it easy.
This is what we devolved into.
Yes.
This is how we... Danielson loves for the bicycle knee. He goes to Raw, so he pulls a freeze, and that man, and like Danielson like literally jumps in midair and then like just crashes. Right? That's what we doing?
Yeah, you know, it's set up for the Tony Khan driver. He's upside down, right? But he reverses that bitch, and then like all of a sudden in the reversal, he pulls out the gun and is aiming at the nigga on the top rope.
He aims at Nick while Nick still perched on top.
Yes.
Damn it.
Sick.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely sick.
He's in the corner getting machine gun chops, and all of a sudden the next time Kingston goes up, all of a sudden he pulls out a strap. All right, we're done. Let's move on, man. Let's move on. Hold on, it kicks out, pointing the gun at the ref 2.9. Oh my God. Well, if you can point the gun, why couldn't you just kick out? Whatever. Like, I saw this clip of from New Day fought Pretty Deadly in NXT, and they did like a quadruple Eddie spot with the belt, and I'm just like, so wait, one of the Pretty Deadly members threw it to the other threw the belt to the other member of the Pretty Deadly, and like they both pretended like he hit his own team. Why would that be a DQ? Like, I think about this stuff just too hard sometimes. So whatever, man. Whatever I want to do, let him pull out a fake gun. Ha ha.
They had Jey Uso defeat Ilya Dragunov on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
That is absolutely disgusting. A lot of people, I don't know if this is locked in or not, or if they're speculating, but they're saying Jey Uso versus Tam Nakano for the King of the Ring finals. That is going to be fucking awful. Who else? They're doing Cody Rhodes versus Logan Paul in Saudi Arabia for the belt. Logan Paul is the United States champion currently. I saw a lot of people kind of upset with this.
Is it a titles versus title match?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I heard some talk about that, and I was like,
Cody's belt is on the line for sure. But
okay,
you know, all you got to say is it's a tribute to the 1994 King of the Ring. You know, when the world champion fought the secondary champion because everybody else is tied up in the tournament. You know, they only like to book a couple people on these shows. You know, but Cody Rhodes versus Logan Paul. I mean, switch the belt. What are we doing? You got a chance. You know, Logan Paul. He's better than him. He's younger than him. He's a bigger star. Let's go. Let's do it.
He's
you want to be mainstream,
outside
right?
the world of wrestling, but in the world of wrestling, he's not. I get what you mean, though.
Hey, but that's their logic. That's who they go with.
Yeah, they are star fuckers. That's true. That's absolutely true. WrestleMania exists because they're star fuckers.
Let's get Logan Paul strapped up,
brother.
Let's get this Cody joint, you know,
that would be
wrapped up.
Obviously, we know that's not going to happen, but that would be absolutely fucking hilarious if, like, 2 months, all this for 2 months.
People don't even seem all that thrilled with it, so to say. You know, I'm seeing, you know, that I'm seeing the buzz in the streets. You know, Lloyd thinks he loves Cody. Don't nobody know Cody better than me in the temperature of what's happening with him. Gotta say, man, I'm not seeing people excited, really.
Look, man, I'm sorry. I just saw, look, regardless of Dave Meltzer inflating that match or whatever else, like, Roman Reigns would have a match like that. Sorry. Like, as a casual viewer of WWE, nah, man, Cody, because I know I'll get a good pay-per-view main event.
Brewhaven, Cody's reign doesn't matter until Rock and Roman comes back. Yeah, man, I don't know. It's all on how you want to look at it, because, like, if they had, like,
you can do that with a lot of people's title reigns, though. So it's like, right. You know, you would just do the whole jaded wrestling fan of knowing who's actually a threat and who's not.
Yeah, like, so, like, if they want to do exciting challengers and stuff like that, like, you would start obviously booking like Dragunov, Walter,
yep,
or people like that or whatever. And then I think you could get away from the nothing matters until blank comes back. And right. I think, honestly, I think they should switch the belt before then. Like, Cody shouldn't hold this thing for a year until one of them comes back and validate all that shit. They need to throw people off and show them that anything can happen. Like, and drop that shit at SummerSlam to Gunther and win it back at like Survivor Series or some shit like that. Or like have his program peak at the Royal Rumble so he wins the belt back at the Royal Rumble or some shit like that.
That wouldn't be a bad idea. Because, like, you tell me right now, if like I can get a Gunther and Cody like Survivor Series, SummerSlam match, or whatever else belt change, then like I get another one at the next Big Four after that, and they switch it back, I sign up for that right now. I know what those two do together.
They're so rigid, like the way Triple H books. It's so rigid. It's like there's no way he's swapping the belt that many times or whatever. Even though it's like they're gonna be going to Netflix. There will be no ratings. There will be there will be a bunch of fucking money, whatever. Like none of this shit matters. You literally are playing with like you're playing the game with the sliders like turned on easy. Like here, like you can book something compelling here, but I don't know. They're not going to. Like, they're about to book Jey Uso versus Tam Nakano, for Christ's sakes. So what am I talking about? Yeah, man. They're doing Jey Uso versus Gunther next week, apparently. So we'll see if that comes to fruition.
Let's see.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's a lot, man.
Yeet at the castle.
I'm seeing people try to defend this Jey Uso thing, and it's nasty. It's nasty, buddy.
No, you can't defend it. He's been awful in the 2 opportunities he's been given in a high profile. It's over, man. Do you need to see this third strike? All right, fine. Let's see the third strike. Let's see it. Fine. Whatever. Let's see the third strike before we get him the fuck out of here.
Yeah, man. It's not trying to see that, my man. I'm not trying to do it. I think that's it, man. Got nothing else left on the sheet here, unless I do the old Twitter scroll and see what they're saying in these streets.
Yeah, man, I don't think there's much. Like, this is a light show as far as stuff to really talk about. It's one of those quiet weeks. Like, do you have anything else you want to mention about, like, Kendrick and Drake?
Yeah, I actually do. Not Like Us is going to be the biggest song of this year. It already, charts-wise, is way the fuck out of here. You're not fucking catching up.
On a short week, because it only started on, like, 5 days' notice.
Yep. And it was like, the way this song is taking over and making people feel, and like the happiness behind it, and it's almost like Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead, almost with this how is looking at it. Drake is literally getting photographed in Turks and Caicos, making the Kendrick lyrics come to light even further, telling us what this guy is just doing. And it's just like the amount of cope from the Drake fans is just like, it's January 6th in.
Well,
honestly, it's like, hey, man, y'all like one step away from trying to descend upon Los Angeles, which I do not advise y'all to do. And it's just like, they seem to have like a couple of these like talking points. Well, the better rapping was on this. Like, I think, whatever.
No.
Like,
the better rapping was not. The better rapping was not on that. You're how do I say this? You're just simple. You don't understand what the fuck you were saying on Euphoria. Sorry.
Yeah.
And like, it should make more sense if you go back and listen to Euphoria, because like all these things that like he was dropping hints and breadcrumbs to what was going to happen along the way, Kendrick Lamar was. And also 616 in LA. You're just simple. And that's fine. Whatever. Right? Like, not everybody wants to listen to as I affectionately like to call it, Dakota Ring rap. Right? So, because sometimes that shit gets so intricate, it's like, bro, look, I am not dumb by any means. Sometimes I don't understand what the fuck these people are saying sometimes, right? Like, like, so I get it. But, like, once you go back and listen to something like, oh, wow, on the third spin of this, whatever else, this is crazy. Like, don't get me wrong, Family Matters is an all-time diss record. It just got erased in, like, 32 minutes or whatever.
Look, and then we started, like, the whole thing where it was like, oh yeah, we're gonna play that Not Like Us thing on this stream. I don't know, we'll play it after the show. We will definitely play it. Shout out to my man Dream Sooner.
Oh, the video.
Yeah, we fucked them up with that one, man. Like, because like we had people making awful responses or whatever. Like, I threw the idea out there, like, hey man, Tony Khan saying WWE is a Harvey Weinstein of pro wrestling, Not Like Us. And then my man Dream Sooner took it to a whole nother level, and he got his flowers definitely for that. And it was like, people were like, yeah, this, if you're gonna do tribalism, you better do it like this. So it was funny. And bro, some of the responses, right? It's so fucking ironic that they were like earnestly responding with the Drake song, and right. It's like,
bro, you unaware. You're so unaware. Like,
it's like
this.
You own
this
yourself.
Song.
This is a disconnect, James. This is a disconnect. They don't understand. Like, you can't just be on one side or the other on this.
Let's for 1 second. The sex pest stuff. Let's move it to the side for now. Let's put it in a little box. Let's close the box. Let's put it over here. We're gonna get back to the box in a second. All right. And now I sound like Roddy Ricch talking about the box over and over again, right? But
yeah.
Anyway,
he lost.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Drake lost. Why the fuck would you want to use that one? He lost. So, all right, now the box is right here now. All right, open it up. All right, Weinstein. All right. Aubrey Graham, Drake, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, and Harvey Weinstein walking into a bar. I'm not gonna finish the joke. That was fucking dumb. Your reply is not that. You are a hit dog hollering and it's showing you that you fucked up. You have no awareness at all. So bad. You self-own yourself.
Unreal, bro. I almost want to play the video. We're going to play it on the stream after the show. But yeah, shout out to Tennessee Sooner, or Dream Sooner on Twitter, because that shit was an all-time wrestling clip, all-time wrestling edit. And it's just like miles ahead, just like the rap beef itself. It's like the further you get removed from this, it's like the more unimpressive Drake in his efforts were, because it's coming out that even he was like lying about all this shit, that he was just lying unchecked essentially about the Kendrick stuff. But
that's the thing when you heard the Heart Part 6 is like, you're saying that everything that Kendrick Lamar is accusing you of is a lie. But what you were saying is true. And that he is lying, and that Kendrick Lamar is lying because he is talking and not showing facts or evidence. Okay, where is your facts and evidence? Oh, you have none? You're just saying that you're out of here and you're done with the battle because you got your ass kicked? Oh. Obviously we see it every single day. And obviously I fuck up at times too, right? We all do as human. But like, the rate at which we see people, like, when they get into the fandom thing and the stand-up stuff, like, just in the identify with these things and the way they fall over themselves and trip up over, like, media literacy, like, it's so bad, bro. It's so bad. And it's like, all right, man. All right. Okay. Like, you were wrong. You found out he's also lying. Like, now forget the part where, like, oh, well, like, you try to flip the fit shit on, like, what happened in Trick Kendrick's last album and say, like, oh, you're so hard on this angle because of, you got molested as a kid. It's like, he didn't say it on the song. You didn't even listen. Like, so, like, it's fitting that, like, Drake was arrogant. And you heard it over and over on the Bun podcast, but, like, he was arrogant. He had all these missteps, probably due to his arrogance. And, like, his fans are front runners, just like he is. So they don't know how to handle the part where he took another
scalded
L.
dogs, acting like scalded dogs right now. Just some of the most unhinged tweets, like in Cope. Like, if you think like AEW, like doing 80,000 in Wembley last year, like tickets sold made people go nuts. And whenever that TV deal is announced, the type of Cope, that's what we're talking about on that level. What the Drake folks was doing.
Like, you know how much it was burned their soul than this number one song.
Look, and I don't have any particular allegiance to Kendrick Lamar either. It's like,
right?
I was talking to your cousin Alex, and it was just like, he was like, essentially like, this is what we all wanted. I was like, bro, I have no want either way. Whatever happens. Like, I'm not married to either of these niggas. Like,
I think Kendrick's the best rapper in the game, and I've thought that for a while, but I don't have an attachment in that way, right? Like, he's not like Biggie or Jay-Z or T.I. to me or Andre 3000. Like, I just don't have that thing. I just think like, oh, he's incredible. So, but I also think Cole's incredible too. I think Drake's super talented. But like his music, a lot of his music leaves me like, oh, he's superficial and there's not much depth there, but he's just a prolific hit maker. That's fine. But yeah, I just to see the way people have freaked out, and then like to see like people that have, followings freak out in this way, like to see academics act the way he's had in clips or whatever else, to see, Ish on JVP act the way he did, like to see how like Maul has acted on Rory and Maul is like, I didn't know y'all necessarily certified lover boys in that way, but y'all will get over it eventually. He'll get out of making hits, and y'all just pretend it never happened.
Seamus Nova saying Rich is capping. He's switching sides after the destruction of the Light Skin Alliance. Nah. I knew what it was from the jump. Like, I was like, look. That's why I wanted to see Cole versus Kendrick, because I thought, you know, if Cole was actually to do it, it would probably be a better battle. But he didn't want to do it. And the way he was rapping proved it.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you know. Yeah.
Like, what do we do next now? Like, there's been so much stuff going on.
This shit is a mammoth song, bro. We were going to play that shit all summer, dance to it. People are going to make fucking videos to it. Clubs are going to play it. It's just going to not go away.
Official and unofficial remixes?
They need to one blood this shit. All I do is win style remix. I don't want a 20-minute
song, man. I don't want a 20-minute song. Let's not.
Man. Please. Like, I want all the West Coast dudes on there rapping or whatever.
Does it?
They don't even gotta look. They don't have to diss Drake. They just, you know, just get on the beat or whatever. They can, like, they not like us. That's a real easy concept.
I think a West Coast remix, official remix, will be appropriate. I really do. And like the one thing when you go back and listen to it is like, and I don't necessarily think Kendrick or Drake actually like was doing this, but there is definitely like giving back, you know, the history of just the East Coast West Coast thing and the scars that go back to that. Like, there is definitely y'all don't respect us over there. Fuck y'all. Like, we are us and we have our own culture. And it's obviously, it's also the same thing when you hear, like, you know, some of the rappers talk about New York too. It's like, it's basically like, hey man, y'all New Yorkers are or you up north niggas are all assholes and don't respect anything outside of your fucking borough or your block, whatever. Right? And that leaves a huge chip on all these other regions' shoulders. So like, the way that like Kendrick, you know, in Euphoria talked about like, you know, niggas got a problem with West Coast and that's fine, right? He said that. And then he does, you know, the way he talked about defending Tupac's honor, the way he talked about like, you know, a few other things, just like, he definitely wanted to make this maybe it's because of, you know, the line in, Push-Ups where he's like, I'm bigger out in LA than you are. Maybe that's what set it up. I don't know, but like, Kendrick, you know,
he's been saying this stuff kind of a lot too, like, because he's like, yeah, I brought my tour to your city, and, you know, back to the shit remix or whatever. So like, he's been saying he's the man in LA, but like, you're not.
But no, he's the man in Beverly Hills, not LA.
Yeah,
they're not the same thing. That ain't Watts. You know, that's not none of the regions. You are like where it's safe. Yeah, maybe, sure. Not on the street, right? Like. Not with the people that matter. So, that's one thing I've noticed. Like, you know, because he mentioned like, it ain't no problem. I'll come, he's like, I go to Delilah while my ice. Well, look where fucking Delilah is. Another safe area. I mean, niggas get robbed there now, but like, that's like, you go to Lindsay get robbed now. It's like, it's still the nicest part of the town. So, yeah, man, I think that like Drake wasn't just saying it being like, look, man, like, I'm a bigger star than you. I don't think he actually has an issue with the West Coast, right? I just think it's a thing where like, you know, Kendrick as a part of like, you know, he doesn't get the respect he deserves. Maybe it's probably mostly due to the part where like he doesn't do that much stuff or whatever else. Where it's like, all right, I'm gonna make this into a part of the, you know, you are an interloper, you are a colonizer, like. I am the culture, and my culture is West Coast, Southern California rap. I'm doubling down on that, and he kicked his ass with it. And I don't necessarily think Drake was actually like, you know, hating on the West. I don't think that. I just think that like that's a part of the many waves of attack that Kendrick had, and it worked out in his favor. And he got an all-time West Coast anthem. Like, I want to see somebody blend in like I want to see somebody put like Kendrick's vocals from Not Like Us over California Love. I just want to hear what it sounds like. If you want to do the Ozzy Brothers shit and all that kind of stuff,
Man, that Isley Brothers shit is amazing.
I want to hear California Love. That's what I want to hear.
Shit, look, Kendrick to turn off the monetization shit on this shit. Well, shit, I almost want to play it right now. But yeah, this is just. I think it was an utter all-time destruction along the lines of T.I. and Lil Flip. Like in retrospect or in hindsight, it's like he's set up. There was no mistake from Kendrick Lamar at all. There was nothing that was like, I don't know about that. Like, and Drake had that ranging to just flat out, this is awful. Like from like the Heart Part 6, like that's like one of the worst diss songs I think of all time as far as like the package of it and the message of it.
Yeah, I think
take away the.
Do you think it's a bad record, or do you think it's a miscalculation?
I think it's a terrible like it's a terrible message in one. Mm-hmm. The actual rap. There's nothing wrong with the actual rapping.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking for clarification, because like I thought he actually had some bars. Obviously, the B sharp shit. B sharp is a fuck up, but like whatever. It's a cool line. Sounds good.
But I think the problem with it was the message was off, the tone was off, the feeling was off. It was just like, this ain't it. Especially following that fucking monster right there. Right. And it's just like, you got to look at it in the situation it's in. And then I'm glad we did the show last week in the moment or whatever to see it. Because I think if we did the show this week, it would be even different than how we looked at it last week.
Yeah.
Because that's preserved. But man, if we feel like this even a week later, what are people going to feel like a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now? It's only going to look worse for Drake.
Yeah. I mean, especially, if he doesn't rebound from it. And like, I think he's too prolific of a hitmaker not to rebound from this. Like, obviously, I think he'll be hurt, in the short term, whatever it was. But like, I think Machine's going to keep rolling to an extent.
Who's going to stand with him? It's going to be tough, man. Like,
whoever needs to go on and whoever needs that tour money to open for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So 21.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be tough, man. Like, but yeah, definitely check out that Isley Brothers Not Like Us remix. That shit is jamming.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. The video is also awesome with like Marshawn Lynch and yeah. All right, y'all. Thanks for listening. If you're watching the stream, you can donate to us by going to the podcast show notes, and you can find the red link circled there. And listen to other shows on the network besides One Nation Radio. Actually, before we move on to Rich, you want to plug the
merch.
Merch again? Yeah.
Yeah, onelifetimeworldwide.com. You can pick up One Nation Radio stuff on there. There are going to be hats on there soon. There's like 3 or 4 pieces on there, as well as the One Lifetime merch, which is my personal artist merch. So you guys can check that out. Got a lot of dope stuff going up as well on there.
Okay. As I mentioned, listen to other shows on the network besides One Nation Radio. You have Keepin It Strong Style, All Things Elite, MSWB Adventure, Wrestling Art with Chris Things, Tunnel Talk, and the Trish and Sarah Wrestling Podcast. Thanks for listening, y'all. Later.
Peace.
You deserve a tech career you love, coworkers you can count on, innovation you're proud to build. If you're ready to change the world through technology, explore a career at Cox. Make a real impact in engineering, development, cybersecurity, and more, all while experiencing work-life balance, flexible work options, and great benefits. Visit cox.career/tech to find a job you love today. That's cox.career/tech.